Good morning and welcome to Focus on the Bible. I am so glad that you are listening. I want to begin by inviting you to our services at Eastside. Meet at 9 o'clock for worship, followed by Bible classes for all ages at 9:30, and then at 10:30 for a second period of worship. In addition, we meet at 6 on Wednesday evenings for Bible study. We'd love to have you come and visit with us soon. Because when the storm comes, storms don't listen to excuses. All the storms do is reveal the consequences of your choices. And that brings us to this third point, is that you can't wait. You can't wait to choose. Right? Maybe it seems to me that somewhere in here we need to come to grips with the reality that you can't wait until it's raining to slide a foundation under your life. And that's what a lot of people just want to do. Biblically speaking, there are lots of people who come to realize God was right and I was wrong, and they want to do that, the right thing, but biblically speaking, a lot of them come to that realization just far too late. For example, in the days of Noah, about the fourth straight day of rain, don't you know there were a big run down at the public library for boat building books? Right? You know, a lot of people are thinking, all that stuff that crazy Noah did and said, I really wish I'd listened to him. Or what about in Sodom and Gomorrah? All those folks who ridiculed Lot and his crazy ideas about holiness and righteousness and seeing God. When it started raining fire and brimstone from heaven, you think anybody was looking for Lot, trying to get a little more information about God and how to do the right thing? There's lots of people in the Bible like that. They get it. They just get it too late. Remember the story of the handwriting on the wall in Daniel 5? We studied this last summer. Daniel 5. Even a Babylonian king got that. He understood just too late to do anything about it. Over and over in the Bible, we meet people in Scripture who finally decide, yes, I'll serve the Lord. But it's too late when they finally reach that realization. Jesus tells this story exactly to help us with that. Jesus is telling us about being late. And he's warning us that it's really, really hard to pour a foundation in the rain. And I know that in this auditorium right now, there are folks in here thinking, that's exactly right. That Bible thing, that New Testament Christianity, that's right. I should obey Jesus. I should do that. And you know what? One of these days, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my life right. I'm going to get my life straight. Right? But not right now. I got other things I got to do right now. There's other problems going on. Hey, there's lots of things going on in our world right now. But one of these days, I'm going to get things right. Well, what's missing in this? What's missing is that the people don't seem to understand that the house represented in this parable is your life. That's what the house is. It's your life. Where you go to college, whether you didn't go to college, while you're working now, your career choices, who you marry, how you raise your kids, what you do in your leisure time, and who your friends are. That's the house. You're building it right now. You've constructed it right now. And that's exactly why many people never become Christians. Because once you get your house all built, how do you slide the foundation underneath it then? It's a hard thing to do, isn't it? How exactly, now that I'm living my life and I got it all arranged, how now am I going to go over to the rock? So comfortable over here in the sand. People build their house and they have their life, and changing it now would be an enormously costly thing and difficult and even painful. They don't want to do it because it means they may have to change their jobs. Or it may be they have to stop doing things that are really, really fun that they like doing that are sinful pleasures. Or it may mean that I can no longer hang around with people I've always been friends with because of their influence, their bad influence on me. The bottom line is when you get your house all built and situated, it's already got something underneath it. And if you build on something other than Jesus Christ, what that means is if you're going to go on the rock, you'll have to tear your house down. Pick it all up, go over there, and put it all back up. And that's a lot of work. It's very hard to do. And every minute that you stay on the sand, you're putting up more house up over there. And it just makes it even that much more difficult to go over to the rock. To where we finally get to the point where we just cannot conceive of ever tearing down our house and getting a new foundation and starting over because it's just too painful. I hope we understand that. If you don't get anything else out of this lesson this morning, is that you're building right now. And that's vital that we understand that. People act like sometimes in some ways that, yes, one of these days I'll carefully think about this and sand, rock, I'll go over there in the rock one of these days. You're already building right now. One writer noted, there is no way we can avoid the building of this house. Even non-decisions build a house for us to live with. Reality makes a decision by not making a decision. There is really no such thing as a non-decision that suspends the movement of time and history. And we must live in the non-decision houses we build just as we live in the houses we build by our decisions. We are all house builders. Amen. None of this I'll get around to deciding where I'm going to be one of these days. No. You've already decided where you are, and you're putting up house as fast as you can live. So where are you? You building on the right foundation? Or are you just making it that much more difficult to ever get built on the right foundation? Finally, it's absolutely unthinkable to fail. Absolutely unthinkable to fail in this building project. You ever heard the expression epic fail, or you just had one job? Right? I love those pictures I see on the internet of you just had one job, where people have just failed at doing their job. Right? So you get signage on roads like this. Right? Just common mistakes between stopped and school. Right? You gotta be careful about that. I like this one right here. On the road to success, there are no shortcuts. That's correct. Right? That bridge is not the right shortcut for this guy. All right, I like this one. This will make a teacher proud. You're the best teacher ever. Right? That makes you proud right there. And then in this one Target store here, it was a little confusing. I don't know what to do. I don't know if they want me to come in or stay out. Right? We see all those kinds of things all the time. And what I need you to understand this morning is, in fact, that what this text talks about is the worst kinds of failure possible. Not a spelling error, not a painting error, right? But the worst, absolute, beyond epic failure you can think of. A combination of foolishness and stubbornness that's awful to see. As a child, I learned the parable of the wise and foolish builder, that it's based on that song, right? And if I did this, put my fists together like this, everyone immediately understands and knows the song that I'm singing. Maybe Mama can sing the song with Michael and Noah at home here, right? Right? How does the song end? The foolish man built his house on the sand, and the rains came down, and the floods came up, and the foolish man's house went splat, right? We all clap our hands. It makes a big noise, and we just love it. It was so much fun as a kid. I don't think Jesus told this parable so 4-year-olds would have another excuse to make a big noise in Bible class. And I don't think it's a whole lot of fun when your house is swept away in the raging waters of a flood. What Jesus is talking about here isn't something funny or splatting. Jesus is talking about something where a person loses everything they own, where lives are lost and people are drowned. If you live near the water, you learn pretty quickly to respect the power of water. When Tammy and I first got married, our first apartment was in Gulfport or Biloxi, Mississippi. And we lived on Beach Boulevard in Biloxi, Mississippi, in this apartment complex. It wasn't that nice, right? It was deceiving. Right? We lived between two casinos. So that gives you an idea of what our little apartment complex was like. When we first went to that apartment complex, I was had just joined the Air Force, so wasn't exactly rolling in the money. And so we went to this one-bedroom apartment, and the landlord of the apartment complex, I looked down at the window outside the front door, and there was all these sandbags. And I asked him, what are these sandbags for? He said, just hope you don't find out. Okay, right? It's because hurricanes, right, and rain and floods. And fortunately, we weren't there when Hurricane Trina hit. And that apartment complex was absolutely destroyed, just absolutely gone. The sandbags did nothing. Right? Katrina was an incredible force of water, not just in Biloxi or Gulfport, Mississippi, but even all the way down to New Orleans. Right? Lots of tragic stories happened as a result of those hurricanes. We heard stories about a man who lost his grip on his elderly father, and he swept away and drowned. A young mother fighting to stay afloat had her infant snatched out of her hands by the raging currents. While many others watched on helplessly atop the roofs of their houses as the water destroyed their homes inside. Terrible tragedies, all because of water. And it's not much fun to see everything that you have torn apart by raging waters. And I want you to know this morning, it's not much fun to lose your soul because you built on sand instead of building on Jesus Christ. And what we're talking about here isn't a game. We're not talking about losing real estate value or your flood insurance will cover it. Or maybe we'll lose a few keepsakes, but you know what? We'll just throw it on a life preserver and I'll be all right. No. The end of the story isn't a big clap. The end of the story is someone who is away from God for all eternity. And all of us know failures in our lives. You may fail at love or school or your job. I hope that you will not. But not any of those failures compares with this failure, where a person loses their soul. That is beyond epic fail. That's an eternal fail. And Jesus says those who fail in that way are just foolish. They didn't need to fail. Build on me. Hear, do, obey, live. Or hear, don't, disobey, and die. Those are the choices. And Jesus says, this is the most important matter in your whole life, your eternal destiny. It's more important than who people are going to vote for president in a couple of weeks. This is more important than what you're going to choose as a career, young people, or going to college, who you're going to marry. This is the most important decision of your life. What are you going to do? Obey, live, disobey, die. Matthew 7, verse 24. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who builds his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand, and the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. It's a stunning, powerful end to an incredible sermon. Maybe more than anything else, it challenges us, if I'm not building on Jesus, just what do I propose to build my life on that would be better than Jesus Christ, the rock? Thanks so much for listening. Have a great and wonderful day.